What's up, everybody?
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Welcome to What We Watch podcast. I am Matt Wozbinski, and today we are going to be breaking down round one of the What We Watched Movie Madness tournament. I am here with the other members of What We Watched. We have JC. JC, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, JC? Repping that JP
Chris.
bracket, Jurassic Park for life, Isla Nublar represent.
Isla Nublar.
Isla, right?
No, they pronounce it Isla in the movie.
Oh.
Yeah, super fancy. And then we have Chris.
So,
Chris has the
the Saving Private Ryan bracket.
Saving Private Ryan bracket. And then we have Zach.
Hola. I have the Schindler's List bracket, also known as the bracket that's going to win.
Brackets.
Yeah,
still going to win.
I would also say that's probably the most depressing of the brackets.
I just
I
said
own the
that.
Schindler's List of brackets.
I literally just said it.
Worst. All right, so we had over 1,000 votes, so thank you guys so much for voting on all of the different matchups. And there were 64 movies that went in and 32 are left. So the first thing that I'm wondering is what surprised you guys in the first round? Were there any movies that you were surprised either won or were surprised were nominated or were surprised that it was even that close? Do you guys have any ones that really surprised you or really threw you off?
First off, La La Land should have won. I think it was going up against Shaun of the Dead, which Shaun of the Dead is a good
amazing
film. Okay, but it's not the best of the Cornetto trilogy. That is At World's End. That's the best one. Shaun of the Dead is number 2 because Hot Fuzz isn't that great.
Hot Fuzz is amazing.
Okay, JC. But look, La La Land is the best film of last year. And I know the Oscars didn't say that, but that's fine. But
because
La La Land
Moonlight
should've won.
was so...
Moonlight was great. But La La Land...
Moonlight hit all of the...
How did Shaun of the Dead win anyway? It's
La La Land's not even Damien Chazelle's best.
Okay. Yeah, it is. Well, okay.
No, Whiplash is so
Whiplash is great. Did Whiplash win?
No, it lost.
Whiplash has Miles Teller, and it's actually a good movie, so that's saying something.
Not my tempo.
Yeah.
Whiplash is so good.
Was fantastic. Whiplash was one of those movies where I think that maybe JC or Zach might have actually recommended it to me. And I just saw it when it came out on DVD, and it was like a Saturday afternoon, and I'm like, that was incredible. So I was bummed that one lost. The thing with La La Land, though, is what I actually heard from a lot of people is, like, if any good movie was up against La La Land was going to lose. Because it's that, I think...
Oh, snap.
I think that it is that backlash of, and we're even starting to see a little bit with Beauty and the Beast, which just came out 2 weeks ago, that we're starting to see some people, like, critiquing, like, Emma Watson singing and the CGI, like, know what I mean? Where there's always that, when so many people say that something is good, then everyone's like, it's just a movie. It's not like, it's not.
Those people suck, Woz. Let me be happy. All right? Look.
Here's what I'm going to say. La La Land, I think, for me, there was a lot of hype going into it, and I really enjoyed the film. I really loved it, but I don't think it was perfect. And there was definitely...
Well, but neither was Shaun of the Dead.
I love the casting.
No, Shaun of the Dead's perfect.
I love the casting, but everybody's pooping on it and saying, like, oh, Emma Stone. Right? No, they were great. But I just don't think it was perfect.
It's the ending that got me for La La. They're so happy, and then they're like,
"Oh, that's the best part of the movie."
I love that.
It's
I like that too.
Yeah.
But can I say, while Woz brought up,
they pulled the rug from under you.
Zach, you had the funniest tweet last night regarding Beauty and the Beast.
Why would you say?
Zach said, "Shout out to Beauty and the Beast for showing me that Emma Watson will fall in love with a Minotaur before me."
Look, I watched that last night. I had never seen the cartoon. Well, okay, let me clarify.
What?
I had seen bits and pieces because back in college, Chase would watch it all the time, but I never sat down to pay attention to it. And so this is my first time to watch that. And It was great. I'm glad they didn't do, and I guess they don't do this in the cartoon, but I expected Belle to get mad when she realized that the Beast was not using her, but like, it's like you're like only falling in love with me because that's gonna pull the curse. But they didn't do that, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, very true.
Good movie.
It was.
Everybody that's listening, Zach, when you just said back in, thought you were going to say back like when you were a kid, but they did not expect you to say back in college in Chase, except that we know you and know Chase.
Shout out to Chase Carpenter, everybody.
Shout out to Chase Carpenter.
I think that La La Land kind of suffered from that whole symptom of, it's sort of the whole, LeBron James, Michael Jordan argument where like, Chris just made a face that like is like, I'm really interested to hear where you're going with this. But like the whole idea of, La La Land can be great, and movies like Moonlight can be great, and Shaun of the Dead can be great. But what happens is when we start comparing things that are both good, but what we start doing is we start tearing one down and making it seem so much worse because we don't want, like, does that make sense? Because we want to elevate the other thing. So, people who say things like La La Land is garbage because they like Moonlight, that doesn't necessarily, they're just trying to say that Moonlight is better than La La Land. And so I think
those are bad people. So, yeah.
So I think that kind of happened with La La Land, where so many people said it was good that other people wanted other movies to get recognition. And so they started like picking out like La La Land isn't not great, it's bad now. And so I think that really hurt it. Like, I think if we were to do this same thing in a year, I think La La Land probably would have beaten Shaun of the Dead.
No.
I think so.
And Shaun of the Dead is still amazing years from now. It's hilarious.
La La Land was like the number one contender to win, right? So like that's probably where the backlash. Well, the number one contender to win the Oscars. Like that's what all the
because they got 13 nominations and all that.
So that's a pretty easy starting point for backlash.
Very true.
But I think the Oscars was very much looking to put over and hit all the demographics because they had all white Oscars last year and blah blah blah. So they had. And I hope this isn't taken as offensive, but they had a movie about a black gay man chronicling his life with like drugs and his family and stuff. So that hit, I think. Moonlight was a great movie and I think it deserved to win, but I feel like they were probably trying to play it safe by picking Moonlight over La La Land, which was a movie we've kind of seen of two white people falling in love and dancing and singing.
Yeah, it's something we've seen before. Mm-hmm. It's not something like, know what I mean? Like next level.
I really don't think it was that though, to be honest. They changed the rules and got a lot of new members because the Oscar So White got blown up a little too much, but I think there was kind of some truth to it.
Yeah.
No, and they made corrections, but I think
like Jennifer Lawrence got nominated for Joy. That made no sense.
Yeah, that was bad.
I feel like that wasn't the only reason, but I think that definitely played a part in it.
Yeah, and I think that because Chris and I have had this argument about the whole, is Moonlight Oscar bait or not?
It's not Oscar bait.
And I think that he's convinced me that it's not. But I do think that, there are certain movies that the Oscars look for. But I do think
Loving was Oscar bait.
Yes. And so, and here's the deal though, is I don't necessarily think Oscar bait's like a bad term. Like, I just think that know what I mean? There's a reason things like Deadpool and stuff don't get nominated for Oscars, even though they're great movies. There is a certain list of criteria, but that doesn't mean that, movies go out with the intention of we're going to make a film specifically for the purpose of winning an Oscar, which like Loving, I think kind of was. And, but I think that Moonlight, like JC kind of said, two white people in a musical falling in love, like we've seen that. So it was nothing, like while it was really great, it was nothing that changed the way that we watch a movie. While Moonlight, that was something that on that big of a stage and that big of a spotlight we hadn't seen. And so I think that it does make it a lot easier to vote for that because it is not just another know what I mean? I think La La Land's great and we'll be talking about it, for years to come. But I do think that, this was kind of like a first sort of situation.
I would say I happened to catch Moonlight at the theaters, and that was like a few times where I was like, after the movie was over, I was like, that was like beautiful. I mean, I liked La La Land, but Moonlight, all the cinematography was like amazing.
See, Chris, that I had that same experience when I saw Sahara in theaters.
Oh god!
God.
Let's address it.
This
Good
at the end of
night.
Sahara. This was perfect.
Let's address it. Okay, so
Jeez.
JC put the movie Sahara into the top 64 movies of all time. And before
Jeez.
we dive too much into this,
my favorite movies, my favorite 16 movies.
And before
It
we
was
dive
not a
into
top
this-
which movies are the best of all time. It was what are your favorite movies?
True. And so let me kind of clarify for our audience kind of how we made these brackets. Zach is dying. All right. So how we made these brackets is we did not want just a list of the top 64 movies of all time. We could have just gone on to IMDb and gotten the top 64 movies and gone with that. But what we wanted to do is we wanted, those top 10 to be like maybe the quote unquote best movies that we've seen. And then once we get into those, 13, 14, 15, 16s, we wanted to throw in those ones that maybe were hidden gems that maybe a lot of people didn't see, maybe weren't blockbusters, maybe were, were maybe impactful to us. But we still consider good films. Obviously not on the same level, but because, it's sort of like a number 16 seed in the actual March Madness tournament has never beaten a number 1 seed. And there's a reason for that. It's because, they never put Duke as a 16 seed. It's just one of those situations where we wanted a good spread, not just the best movies. And so, so JC put in Sahara, and so he would like a moment just to kind of explain why he put that in there, and then also we're gonna jump into defending. Actually, let's take a quick break, and then we'll jump into.
None of us else have. Zach was the only one that got to talk about his surprise.
And I had one more, but that's fine.
Okay, no, let's talk about surprises then. We got time. Okay, surprise for me. I don't have one yet, so go ahead.
I've got a really quick one.
Okay.
Alien is one of my favorite movies of all time, but I'm really surprised it beat Inside Out.
Yeah.
I voted for Alien, but I expected Inside Out to destroy it. So that made me feel pretty good to see that a movie from 1978 was able to beat 2016's, or what, 2015?
15.
15.
Was able to beat Inside Out.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Chris,
JC, did you have anything? Or Chris?
I was kind of surprised too, because I was like, really? That was another one with like Waz doing these matchups just to frustrate me. Like seriously, Inside Out against Alien, like God.
Alien's classic.
Exactly. And I was like, and then like everyone's gonna think of all the Alien sequels that's brought it, except for the second one, but like Prometheus and all that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, jeez. But yeah, I was glad it won too. So that actually made the bracket better.
I'm kind of surprised. I don't know. Like, part of me wants to say, like, I'm looking at the list right now. We're looking through our pictures. I don't know. Maybe I'm not so surprised by anything other than I wish Mr. Smith Goes to Washington versus Kings of Summer was that matchup that nobody's seen.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, I haven't seen either of them.
My pick was Kings of Summer. Up against almost any other movie in this tournament, it probably would have lost. Or I suppose it could have won against a couple of them. Oh wait, did Donnie Darko win?
No.
Nope.
No,
lost by like 2. That one was actually probably one of our closest ones.
Other than the tie.
Yeah, the tie. We literally
The tie.
had one
Let's talk about that. I'm surprised by that because Bad Boys 2 is amazing. It's one of the few sequels that's better than the original.
Yeah, I honestly, and here's another thing, is I think that what would surprise a lot of you is Girl Interrupted and Bad Boys 2, that matchup is probably another one where it's a lot of haven't seen. Like, So what a lot of people probably did was maybe seen one or the other, or because those two aren't really similar a ton.
Not at all. Two polar opposites.
And so,
You mean Angelina Jolie and Winona Ryder don't stand up and go, "This just got real"?
yeah,
And
no, I don't recall any explosions in Girl Interrupted or like anything like that. And so I think probably what happened with that was you had two polarizing things. So you probably had a lot of people who voted for the action adventure, like, know what I mean, comedy, Bad Boys. And then you had people who were like serious drama.
Smart.
Vote for Girl Interrupted. So I think that was probably another one where there was probably a good mix of people where they're like, well, I like Will Smith, like, know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. Or, I like Angelina Jolie. Like, so that was another one that I was surprised it was close. But
I wasn't surprised at all.
For me, I was bummed Casino Royale lost because I understand Boondock Saints.
That
I
didn't make
don't.
no sense.
I don't. Boondock Saints is a bad movie.
I don't like to bring up the word overrated a lot, but
Okay, like
Overrated. That's what it is.
I'm more in
Yeah.
Chris's camp of overrated, but Zach just flat out said it was a bad movie. Here's the deal: I think that Boondock Saints kind of is that cult classic. Like, know what I mean? Like, people have a image in their brain like, oh yeah, the Boondock Saints. Like, I would probably say there's a good chunk of people who've never seen the Boondock Saints, but know it's sort of like this gritty, edgy, like, know what I mean? Like, film.
Bad movie. Yeah, everyone knows what you mean.
before we get into the defense section,
Yeah.
I know we're about to jump into that.
Yeah.
Let me just explain with my picks, a big thing that was weighing into my decisions was rewatchability.
Mhm.
And I can rewatch Boondock Saints. I can rewatch Sahara. I can rewatch a lot of my movies 1,000 times versus the matchups they were against. I'm not a big James Bond fan. Like, I like James Bond, but I think as far as like spy movies and explosions and stuff, I think there's possibly better choices. Casino Royale was great, but like Boondock Saints, I watched it as a young 20-something. It stuck with me. I will go back to that. That prayer that they do. Like, there's just so many like iconic moments in that for me. That really stuck with me.
Yeah, and obviously, like, people agreed it won, and so, but that was one where I thought that, I like, because also like Princess Bride won, and I think that was also another one that I think over Scott Pilgrim, and I think that was a similar situation.
yeah, that
where you
didn't
have
make
an
no
older,
kind of
kind of more nostalgic movie, like, know what I mean? Like,
Princess Bride is really good.
it
Princess
is
Bride
really
is good. I think what hurt us is Scott Pilgrim is a niche.
Yeah.
It's a comic book video game movie
yeah.
that maybe a lot of people haven't seen.
Yeah. And so, any other surprises before I say mine? We move on to the next one.
Sahara didn't win.
Yeah, shocked.
That was kind of expected.
Shocker.
Biggest upset that the number one seed, Saving Private Ryan.
If Sahara would have won, I would have quit, to be honest.
He would've just said, like,
I'm
yeah,
out,
go
guys.
It's like, nope, not doing this anymore.
Yeah. But I really, I wasn't surprised, but I was kind of bummed that The Prestige, which is a great movie, this was a matchup one for me, where The Prestige beat WALL-E, because WALL-E is possibly my favorite Pixar movie.
Really?
Yeah, I think that because you literally, like, there's no talking for like the first 30 minutes. Like, it's just completely tells a story just based off visuals and sound effects and stuff.
See, that's my
And-
favorite part. But once he gets to people,
Yeah, that's the thing.
People wrote it.
Is it kind of like, yeah, it does. I will admit, it does dip once I get to the like really overweight people on floating chairs part. but I did really enjoy that film. I thought it was incredibly cute. And like when he tries to hold his own hand, I cry almost every time. Oh my gosh. When he's watching the thing and he's all alone and he tries to hold his own hand, I cry over a robot. It's sad. But so, that was a matchup one but I thought that the whole, kind of like the Inside Out situation. I thought that the fact that it was a Pixar animated movie would kind of give it that little bump over The Prestige, which.
Well, I think a lot of people have seen Prestige by now, especially because it's Christopher Nolan. I think a lot of people love that movie.
All right. Well, we are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. Welcome back to the What We Watched podcast. We are going over March Movie Madness, but before we do that, we just want to thank our sponsors at Amazon. They have a ton of services, and today we're focusing on Amazon Prime. I have it. It's great. You get free 2-day shipping. You get to stream music, watch movies. It's a fantastic, fantastic deal. You can actually get a 30-day free trial by clicking the link in the description below. It's 30 days absolutely free, and it helps out the show. So if that's something
30
that you're
days of
interested
free shipping? Is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Who doesn't silence their phone?
That was Chris.
Oh,
Watched
Chris,
his phone go off.
Chris,
And-
I'm going to throw your phone at the wall, and then using my Amazon Prime,
Hey,
get you
speaking
a new
of,
one.
I got an Amazon package. It's going to be delivered on Tuesday. So buy Amazon Prime. This was product placement. That's what this was.
Perfect. Love it.
You're welcome.
Description below. All right, so Zach has some things that he needs to get off of his chest. So, Zach, what has you so ruffled?
Look, okay. I want to first say that I am friends with all of you, okay? And that at the end of what I talk about, we're still going to be friends. But in round 2, The Dark Knight is going up against Guardians of the Galaxy. And The Dark Knight is a good movie. It is a great movie, okay? However, I think we should be aware that the only reason The Dark Knight is good is because of Heath Ledger. Guardians of the Galaxy, with the exception of the villain, everything about that is fantastic. So what I don't want to happen is I don't want people to go, well, it's The Dark Knight, and it's going to win, and it's going to go all the way to the top, because it doesn't deserve to go all the way to the top. I'm not certain it deserves
I agree with Zach.
The Goonies, because The Goonies is like one of the best 90s movies of all time. 80s, same thing. But
Goonies is not good.
Waz, you can just leave.
The Dark Knight is a good movie, but it does not deserve to go all the way to the top. So I think here, when it goes up against Guardians of the Galaxy, I think we all need to take a good long look at why Guardians was the most fun I've had in a theater, and that The Dark Knight was really good when Heath Ledger was on screen. And then it was not that great when it was Batman going, "Where's Rachel?" So there's my rant.
I'm on the same side. Dark Knight's not even the best Batman movie.
Thank you. Oh my God, Chris, are we best friends?
Wait, what's the best Batman movie?
Batman Begins.
Returns.
Batman Lego.
Batman
Lego
Returns.
I love Returns. Sorry.
Lego Batman.
Oh,
Lego Batman is really good. Yeah.
You can make a point that
Me-
Lego Batman, with the story that it tells, is the best Batman movie.
With me, Returns, Begins, and then Dark Knight.
Yep.
all right. So, first off, I would like to say you're wrong. But I do. But I do.
Can we
all
start
so I'm
talking
gonna
about the
say-
flaws of Dark Knight? Because I'll enjoy this.
All right, so here's the deal. That's another podcast for another day. But I will say, I do think that Guardians has a very strong chance of winning. I'm going to take, like my wife, for example. She loves Guardians. She's not a huge movie person, but she loves Guardians. She loves the soundtrack. She thinks it's fun. Like, she will watch. That's one of the very few movies she will watch more than once. Like, that's one of the few movies, like, as a person, she does not really, she goes because I go, basically. Like, she's like, it's spending time with you, so I'll sit there and pretend like I like. So I feel like Guardians 2, like, she gets excited when a trailer comes out for it because it is so fun and it is so, I think that people love that movie. And so while The Dark Knight kind of does have its flaws, and I will be voting for it to win.
A lot of flaws.
Oh, hush. But I do think that that's a matchup one that I'm not very happy about as a person who likes The Dark Knight. I think that Guardians has so much mass appeal, and not like in a fluffy way, but like in a legitimately, it's an awesome movie. And so a lot of people like it, that I'm pretty sure that it could probably beat The Dark Knight.
I mean, they beat the villain in a dance-off. I don't know what you want from any other movie ever. It's a dance-off. God.
And I'm just gonna drive by this. The Goonies is terrible.
I'm with
You're
Waz
going
on
to
that
drive by it. I'm going to wreck into your car. That's what's happening right now.
It's
Goonies
not
is
that
a
good.
great movie.
The Goonies is okay. This is what happened with the Goonies.
Sloth, love, chunk.
We have like
It's
4 or
not
5
funny.
plot points that don't make sense, and then we're just gonna let them talk. There was like, I swear,
It's E.T. with no Steven Spielberg.
this script was literally probably bullet points that say, "Okay, kids, you're gonna be in a pirate ship."
Look at JC.
Wow! Look at the pirate. Look at the gold. Look at wow! I can't believe what are we having. And
You're
they're, like,
surprised.
talking
They're kids.
for
They're
like
not
5
What do you
minutes.
want from
with
them,
their
Waz?
words.
Even it's just so bad.
I'm gonna get you onto a pirate
It's not
ship, and I
made
want
that
you
well.
to say
It's
anything
not-
other than, "Oh my gosh, look at this, look at that."
It's not made well,
so-
JC, to be honest. Come on.
It's so bad. Like I literally okay, fun story.
Booby
So
traps,
we have
guys?
like a
Booby traps.
like outdoor movie experience in the summer that's like at a park where they like project it onto a screen and they watched the Goonies and literally like I went with a bunch of friends and like I left. Like because it was like literally giving me a headache. Like I couldn't.
It's so good. Like you're
It's
watching and you're like, my
so-
God, this is a good headache that I'm having.
My brain
because the movie's so good.
I had to
was
force
so-
myself to finish it when I
Yeah.
watched it. A
Like
couple
I
years ago.
like that's the thing is like I'd watch it because like it is a culturally huge film, and so like I felt like I needed to be like caught up. But like unless someone else is making me, I will never watch the Goonies.
You guys are attacking my childhood right now. You're just
Right.
stabbing it in the heart. That's what you're doing.
All
See,
right,
that's
so
why you love it so much. You watched it when you were a kid.
Exactly,
when
that
you
nostalgia
didn't know
factor.
what
And
good
'cause it's
movies
good.
were.
This is completely off topic, and nobody outside of the
The hair
street
is
will
better
know.
than the
Well,
That reminded me of when
It's bad.
Goonies. Better than the
that reminded me when it was like fall break, and we were out to lunch with Party Cooper, and I brought up how at that point I hadn't seen The Matrix, and he told me to shut up because I wasn't culturally relevant.
Oh yeah, that's true. He literally just said, "Well, then you're not allowed to talk anymore until you see that movie."
So you've seen it now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just making sure. Side note: they're rebooting it apparently.
Yep. And apparently it's
Oh,
going to
no.
be Morpheus.
Yeah.
they're doing a prequel thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan may be.
Can we not do
Morpheus.
that? Can we just
But
vote
it's
to have
money.
that not happen?
No,
It's
it's
money.
happening.
Ugh.
So, all right.
Okay,
so
you were
Zach-
defending what's that?
Zach defended Guardians of the Galaxy. Is there anything else that people want to defend that they're a little bit
In the
nervous?
next round, or
Yeah, just in the
Yeah.
next round.
Girl Interrupted should make it to the third round. Just saying.
Let's see. So, Girl Interrupted.
it's going up against Creed.
Oh.
Well, here's
Sorry,
the thing.
man.
Both
Sorry
of my
for your
movies
loss.
going against each other.
On Challenge, Interrupted is spelled wrong, and I can't have that. So I want Creed to win.
Well, no. I want Creed to win now. I didn't know it was going against Creed.
Okay.
It's funny, like a lot of Chris's movies that advanced and a lot of my movies advanced are facing like our own picks.
No, like
Man.
I have
I'd be more frustrated than I was in the first round.
I have Schindler's
anger.
List going up against Alien, which I don't like at all.
Ooh. Yeah. So, who would you pick in that?
Well, look. So JC said he picked his films off of rewatchability.
Yeah.
I picked mine based on impact.
Mhm.
So I've only seen Schindler's List once,
Okay.
but that I consider that my favorite film of all time.
Mhm.
Just because of the way, like when that movie ended, I just sort of sat in my room because I watched it by myself, and
That's
It-
depressing.
that movie hits hard and it's heavy and it is not. I'm not certain it's a fun movie to watch. I mean, it's not, but the way it hits you with. I mean, I'm not going to go into it, but so that and Alien. I mean, that I watched that so many times. Probably when I shouldn't have when I was a kid. But so both of those are really impactful. So now you're going to expect me to pick. I mean, I'm going to pick Schindler's List.
Mhm.
But man, I love Alien, and so screw you, Waz,
Well, and
for setting this up.
I think you have to look at like the difference between favorite film and best film. Like
Right.
Schindler's List is one of the best films ever made, nowhere near my favorite.
Right.
My favorite is something that I just love and that I want to watch over and over. But as for, sorry, I got off of the page. Chris, you go. You go, Chris.
I got one.
Yeah, you can go, Oz.
All right, so it's not going to happen, but in the next round, Goodfellas is up against Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, you're done.
So
You're
obviously,
done. Just don't even talk. Just don't even talk. It
Let's
doesn't
make
matter.
a campaign for Goodfellas, please.
But Goodfellas is so good.
Is it?
Like, it. Have you seen it?
I've never seen it.
Go
Oh.
legitimately go watch it. It is probably, like, in my opinion, and I've only seen it once, so sorry if this is like sacrilege, and it's not even in our thing. But like, I would say it's a better like gangster movie than The Godfather.
There
Like,
are a lot of words that are being said right
I
now
know.
that I think we're going to
No.
regret.
No, I'm gonna go with him on this one too.
Like, it's, as far as like it's comedic at times, there are times that are incredibly tense. There are times that are just so like, just it's such a good look at that life. And I know it's gonna lose. I'm telling you, everyone who's listening or watching, like, please. I know Star Wars is great, and I love Star Wars.
You're not only thinking. You're not only saying that Star Wars is great. It's the best Star Wars movie.
Yes, I would agree with that. But here's the deal. I think that standalone, I think that Goodfellas is a better film than Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. I think that because you can't think of Empire Strikes Back without Return of the Jedi, New Hope, like the whole Star Wars universe. And yeah, that's the best and like the peak of the mountain when it comes to Star Wars. But I think that by itself, that Goodfellas is a better film and
Goodfellas has the better shots.
Yeah.
All the tracking shots are just.
It's really, really good. And I know it's going to lose. Like, I'm trying to like come to terms with that. It's sort of like it's on its deathbed, and it's just a matter of time. But like that's probably one of like my both as far as being a good movie and being like an all-time like so an enjoyable movie that I like and a good film overall. That's probably like a very good sweet spot for me is Goodfellas. So defending it, please vote for it, even though I know Vader is going to just Rogue One it and just completely chop it to bits. So
I have a question.
Yep.
Did Ghostbusters beat Prince of Egypt?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, good. I don't know how that got like so many votes for it. Like, yeah, Prince of Egypt is good, but it's Ghostbusters.
True, but I think that Ghostbusters also has a somewhat not target audience, but there are some people.
Yeah.
It's a shotgun target, and so. But yeah, I think that probably we do have a lot of people who are like Christian faith people who just will like Prince of Egypt because
those are the people that hate Beauty and the Beast without seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then two, I do think that
Can of worms.
There's probably also like a younger group who maybe have only seen it like on TV. Or like, know what I mean? Like they caught parts of it on TV and just haven't actually like sat and watched the movie. Mm-hmm. And then maybe they saw Prince of Egypt as a kid or, so that one I was surprised was as kind of close as it was. I mean, Ghostbusters still won pretty comfortably, but I was surprised that Prince of Egypt got that many votes.
Man, I'm looking over the list and like who won and stuff. And my movies, like, so I've got Ghostbusters up against American History X, and like I still think Ghostbusters should win because that was my number 2 seed. It's so dark, Chris.
Sorry, I had to get my charger.
But American History X was like so impactful,
even though it should have won.
Zach was talking like it should have won, and it was so impactful and so like gripping, and like I think it challenges the way you think and it challenges the way I thought about movies and stuff. Not only like cemented Edward Norton as my favorite actor, but Ghostbusters, I think it just hits. I feel so dumb like defending a 2 seed. And such an amazing
I just had to
movie.
do it with Dark Knight.
Yeah, but Dark Knight's Dark Knight.
And it's not that good, so.
Dark Knight's better than Ghostbusters.
Whoa.
I mean, let's all remember Woz did stand-up comedy for a minute.
But
Maybe he's just trying out new material.
That's good.
But let's I don't know. There's nothing really for me to defend.
all right.
Other than Sahara.
Which you can't defend anymore because it's dead.
Yeah, just
Is there a losers bracket?
yeah, Sahara by itself.
Still loses.
Yep.
Amazon.
Welcome back to the What We Watched podcast. We are going over What We Watched movie madness. I am Matt here with Khris, Zac, and JC. But before we get too far into it, we just want to thank our sponsors over at Amazon. If you are looking to buy basically anything, literally anything, you can probably find it on Amazon. And if you click on the link in the description below, you can actually get a 30-day trial of Amazon Prime for free, and it also helps out the show. So if you're looking to sign up for Amazon, click on the link below, and that would be a big help to us and a big help to you. Now, we are going to dive into some things where obviously we could only pick 16 movies, but in hindsight, there's always a few movies that we wish we probably could have thrown in there. And so we are going to throw out what movie we wish would have made the tournament. So I'm going to throw it over to Zac. Zac, what movie do you think you wish would have made the tournament?
So I was going to pick Inglourious Bastards, but why do we not have Good Will Hunting on this list?
We do have
on
Good
the
Will Hunting.
We do? I can't find it.
It lost.
It lost.
To what?
No, wait, did it?
Oh no, it won.
No, it beat the secret-
Walter Mitty.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. False alarm. I'll go back to Inglourious Bastards then. Back got real upset. Side note, actually, I was really excited for the Secret Life of Walter whoever, but the movie wasn't super great. I remember the trailer being amazing, but the movie wasn't great. So I don't know why. Who put that on this list so I can shame it? All right, JC, that's fine.
It's great, beautifully shot, great movie, fun story, emotional, everything.
I think you're a good person. Thank you.
Beautiful shot if you love the color blue.
Yeah. I do.
I do love the color blue. I want to talk about Inglourious Bastards.
Okay.
My pocket's blue.
That might be the best Tarantino film, and I know Khris, you and I are going to fight about this. Because you put
Hateful Eight.
Oh my God. Hateful Eight's a good movie. It's a good movie.
It's the best.
Okay, we're saying a lot of words. The best. Look,
yes.
That initial scene. Okay.
What is Tarantino's known for? Dialogue. Hateful Eight has so much.
Yeah.
Blood.
And blood. Yeah, but he's
Vulgar language.
known as being a great writer, and Hateful Eight is just filled with
that scene with Christoph Waltz when he's in the farmer's house.
Yes.
He knows that there are, and it's that tension of you see the Jewish family under in the basement, and when he's just there talking to them, it's so good. That is Tarantino. That is classic Tarantino.
I agree.
It's okay.
Okay. All right.
But that's what I'm saying.
But Hateful Eight had Channing Tatum under a cellar. That's more.
That surprise was great because I was not expecting that at all. Channing Tatum under a cellar. Wait, does every Tarantino film have a cellar scene? No, I don't think Django does.
That'd be a really cool rabbit trail that we just discovered right there.
Well, doesn't he also do there's all? What's the director?
He's a prepper. He loves storm shelters.
Well, there's some director that in every movie he has something where it's either the trunk of a carriage, the trunk
Most of them do. Spielberg has signs. Spielberg does a lot of signs in Jurassic Park. It's in the mirror. Things are object or closely appear. So a lot of directors do have little things like that, a little trademark.
Tarantino does have the shots from the trunk of a car.
That's what it is. Yeah.
That's what he does every time.
How did they do that in Hateful Eight.
They didn't-
There was no cars.
Okay, yeah, they didn't do that in his 2 westerns, but every other film, that's what
He
he's
didn't
got.
do it in the films where the cars weren't around.
They could have did the trunk of the buggy.
True. All right,
So,
so
Glorious Bastards, Zach, go.
That's my spiel. It's
You
great.
did go.
I don't want to spend too much time on it, but
all right, Chris, what was the one?
Didn't
that
even
you thought?
mention Brad Pitt. If you love that movie so much,
And BJ Novak.
So
I
good.
love Brad
Yes.
Pitt. What do you want from me, man? They kill
mine
Hitler.
mine is another Tarantino film, Django Unchained. Because other than Hateful Eight, Django's his second best.
I will agree that yes, Django is his second best.
I love. If you haven't seen with the search, I mean, I don't know how the Searchers didn't win. I love westerns, so I'm also a lot more biased towards the westerns. But Hateful Eight, I mean, Django had. I mean, Christoph. I like Christoph Waltz more in Django than Inglourious Bastards, to be honest.
You're just trying to hurt me. Also, your cat's adorable.
Oh yeah, we do. But yeah, you have that, and then Jamie Foxx. I mean, Jamie Foxx I think he's a wonderful actor, and him and Christoph together had like the perfect chemistry. Like, I was too bad it wasn't like a buddy cop movie. I was like, could there be a Django 2? Even though that wouldn't make any sense. But I love Django, and then Samuel L. Jackson was the perfect bad guy. Like, he was like, and it's even better since he's like the bad guy hidden behind Leo.
Yeah.
And just the way Samuel and his accent, how he chose to do that, it was just that shot of Samuel Jackson when he first sees Django, and he's just staring at him. Just I love this movie so much. And it has
What's
Rick Ross.
this N-word doing on a horse?
And it has a Rick Ross song in it.
Yes.
And it makes sense. Who else could do that? So yeah, Django.
Any other director?
No, who could do that? No, who could do that? And it's good. Like,
Yeah.
Rick Ross came on in Django. It wasn't like, what is this? It was like, it felt right. So when I was doing the list, I was like, I had to put Matrix over Django, and I was kind of mad. I had to do that.
All right, mine would probably be Shutter Island. Shutter Island was one of the few movies, which I won't give away the ending. Please don't give away the ending.
It's been out for like 7 years.
I know, but still, like,
He's been dead the whole time.
it was all a dream. Hip Hop magazine. But I remember watching it, and I watched it at home, and I was like home for break over college, and I was watching it like, so this is how the unfolding of Shutter Island happened for me. I was watching it in my room, and I felt like I was a 10-year-old kid again, because my mom needed help with something downstairs right when like the reveal, the twist part was happening. And my mom was yelling, Matt. I literally screamed, "Not now, Mom!" And I was like, because I can't pause this. What's happening? And it was just really, really well done. Fantastic. I love Leonardo DiCaprio. And it was probably one of my favorite movies. And looking back, I probably like it a lot more than a bunch of movies on my list, but it just didn't make the cut. And but yeah, I really enjoyed that movie. You should watch it.
I think Shutter Island's better than Inception. I like it better than Inception.
Yep.
Oh, yes. I saw Shutter Island theaters. That was one of the best experiences I've had. That ending blew my mind.
Yep.
I would disagree with. Well, Inception is. I always say Inception is my favorite movie because.
No, that's what Inception is the whole time.
Oh, okay.
And so, I think that what I like Inception so much is it sort of, we had those two categories: best made film and then film that means a lot to us. And I think that if you average out those two scores, Inception rates the highest for me, and that's why I like it's something I can watch over and over and over. It's a really well done film with actors and directors that I like and appreciate. And it's just good. It's enjoyable. It's exciting, that sort of thing. So while I do believe that there are films that are better, and then there are also films that I might enjoy more, those are the ones where if you average out those two, that it's going to get the highest overall score. But Shutter Island is really good, and people should watch it. What about you, JC?
Now this is going, if you believe it or not, out of left field. Okay. Like this.
Oh my God, I'm so scared.
Let me set this up a little bit. I first saw this movie in the theaters with our friend Gio, And
That doesn't
LB
help.
on Thanksgiving break.
Ghost of Girlfriend's Past.
No, better. I'm gonna go with something that we don't even have any type of this genre in the tournament. Maybe for a reason, I don't know, but I'm going with Michael Jackson's "This Is It."
Okay.
Ooh.
I think. I mean, yes, did the man have a lot of troubles? And I don't even think about that stuff right now. But as a movie goes, as something like you're watching this 50-plus-year-old man still sing these songs, do these dance moves, watching the dancers talk about this man that is now passed on, and watching these dancers talk about how much his music and his stuff is meant for him was incredibly emotional pulling. But then hearing these songs, like tapping your foot, seeing all the stuff that was going into this huge tour that was only stopped by the man's death, and all that he was able to do on stage and all that he was doing, I think it's a rewatchable thing. It's sure, cinematography, and it's a documentary about a concert, and you're watching these songs. But I think everybody loves these songs. Everybody connects with these songs at some point. And knowing that he passed away during the making of this tour, I think only elevates it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would say that's a good move. Like, I enjoyed it. I don't know about. I would kind of lean on the
Again, 16 favorite films versus 16 best films.
Yes, so I think that's a good pick. All right, guys. So we are now officially done with round one. If your movie lost, too bad. It's out. It's dead. We have moved on to round
Sahara's
two.
gone. It's not coming back.
Thank the Lord.
Sahara is in the desert, buried. Now, so I'm just gonna go down the line, and in 30 seconds, tell me which movie do you guys think is going to win it all? Like, what movie do you think is going to just, make it past round two with no problem, move on, and then probably be the best movie? Does anyone want to jump right in?
I think it'll be The Lion King. I think that has enough draw. It has enough popularity behind it that I'm seeing, for the most part, anything that thing goes up against, it might win. It was not one of my films. I also wrote down Empire and The Two Towers, because what I think is going to eventually happen is, like, some of these really great films are going to get beat out by
Fan favorites.
Right, yeah.
That makes sense.
Do you think The Lion King's going to beat Shawshank?
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because here's the deal. I think that what people do is a lot of times they'll vote for, like, if I could watch a movie right now, what would I want to watch? Mm-hmm. And like, kind of like we were talking about, like Shawshank, while it's a great, amazing film, it's not a very feel-good film. And so it's not something that you want to watch over and over, and, like, you can just throw on at any time, like, oh, it's a Thursday afternoon, I'm going to watch some Shawshank.
Go watch Shawshank Redemption.
And so I think that while it can be appreciated as a really great film, it's not something that you're going to, just throw on. Well, I feel like, Lion King does have that. Anyone else got one, or do you want me to jump in?
I think Empire's going to win, but if I could say real quick, I hope Mad Max wins, though.
Ooh, yeah.
I think it may be a niche film in a sense, but I mean, who doesn't? I think everyone who's seen Mad Max can't really say bad things about it.
Because that movie.
It's amazing, and it was shot by a 70-year-old man. That makes it even more amazing.
Are we talking this next round or the whole tournament?
The whole thing. So for me, what I think is going to win is, this is kind of an upset a little bit, but I think that The Princess Bride has a really good shot.
Ooh.
Just because, so I'm looking at the bracket itself, and one of the problems is, so both Lion King and Chris, which one did you just say? Oh, Star Wars are both in the same bracket.
Oh, geez.
So at some point, to get to the final, they're going to have to face each other.
I think Empire could win that one.
Which they could, but
You're saying... Go ahead.
But I am saying that I think that The Princess Bride could win because I think it's got that good blend of nostalgia. It's a good film, funny, action, It's been out for long enough to where older people have seen it, younger people have seen it, and I think that just across the board, like, it's a good classic film that a lot of people have seen, that is like all ages appropriate, so you have everyone seems to like it, and it doesn't have a ton of people that would have to beat. I mean,
Saving Private Ryan.
No, Princess Bride's out. I'm sorry.
But here's the deal.
Heart's broken.
Here's the deal, though.
I know people who don't. Well, to be fair, I know people who don't like The Princess Bride.
But this kind of goes back to the Schindler's List part. Like, Saving Private Ryan's a great, like, I would say it's a better film, but at the same time, like that Thursday afternoon situation, like,
I'd watch it Thursday afternoon.
I'll watch it right now. Bye, guys. Yeah. And so, but that whole thing of like the general audience of people voting, like, this isn't like a bunch of like, because we are all, guys. JC, how old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay,
30.
so guys in our 20s and 30s, but like, know what I mean? And so, but people who are voting, are like, male, female, older, younger. And so I think that while Saving Private Ryan is a better film, I do think that kind of like Zach was saying, like, it kind of hits all, it checks off all those right boxes and all the things. So Saving Private Ryan, it would have to beat.
But if you're American, you're going to vote Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, God.
Unless you want the
patriotic.
The Princess Bride if anything, will be the Upham of this tournament. And it will, if it kills Saving Private Ryan, it's just gonna F everything up.
Yep. And so, but yeah, so that would probably be my like pick for just looking at the bracket and looking at who it has to beat. I mean, there's Saving Private Ryan in that area, but I mean, here are the other ones that are in that like bracket area: Saving Private Ryan, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Boondock Saints, Ghostbusters, which it could have trouble with, American History X, Blues Brothers, and Gone Girl. Like, so I'm just saying, far as like,
there's no way. Gone Girl, Blues Brothers, Ghostbusters, Saving Private Ryan.
Boondock Saints.
No, Boondock Saints.
I think
this is not.
I think
go with the four I just said.
I think Boondock Saints has the bigger crowd connection.
Than Princess Bride?
Than the Princess Bride? No way.
No, I don't.
I think so.
I don't think Princess Bride is good, but I think you're wrong on that one. Princess Bride is way more likable than Boondock Saints.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's going to be the best movie, but it's one of those things where, like in sports, when like a team enters in like, and they're doing really well going into the tournament, like it just has the most broad appeal, I think, out of any one of those films. And so I think it's just going to get more votes.
Than Ghostbusters?
I think so.
No.
Like,
that's a tough one.
Did you forget Ghostbusters has Bill Murray, right?
Yeah.
Everybody.
We're not talking about the new Ghostbusters.
Yeah. So that would be my pick. All right.
My picks, I've got two, and they go up against each other in the third round, so it'll be one or the other. Either I think they have the easiest road to the championship, except for they have to fight against themselves. But either Jurassic Park or Return of the King. They have to face each other in the third round, but I think that's really going to be the only hiccup for those two. Jurassic Park has a great story. It was something new that really hadn't been done before that point. The visuals still hold up. I can rewatch it 1,000 times over and over. And it's just great. Groundbreaking film. Return of the King. Like you can rewatch the whole Lord of the Rings series 1,000 times. Like they have extended footage where it's like 27 hours of all of them. And Return of the King, despite what Chris might say about Two Towers has a better story, Return of the King
also has Helm's Deep, so
where no man shall bow to you. Like if you're not crying at that point, and then when Frodo says goodbye to the other hobbits,
you're not crying by that point.
If you don't cry during the other four endings,
there's many great points to it that I think I think those two are my heavy favorites, just because they have the easiest road as well as they're just awesome.
Okay, but pick one.
Oh.
Yeah.
One of those two.
You got to pick one.
Yeah.
Okay, if those go head to head, who are you voting for?
Oh my gosh, they will go head to head because Return of the King is going up against Grown Ups in the next round.
Why is Grown Ups on the list?
Wait, I thought the Thing beat
The
the
Thing
Grown
is-
Ups.
No,
No,
It
the Thing
did.
did win.
The Thing won.
No.
Oh, thank God.
Yes.
We just
I think
talking
you're
about
wrong.
that. No.
How
How you
you
gonna
JC refuses
How
to
you
let
get
go.
mad at Waz to not put the results quickly, but when he does, you don't read them.
I did read them.
All right. All right.
Then I will say Jurassic Park just because it's my number 1 seed.
Makes sense.
Okay.
All right. So those are our picks for the tournament. Round 1 is over. Round 2 starts
That's
on
dumb.
Monday.
Grown
So
Ups should have won.
what? No.
Let it go, man.
Let it go, man. So round 2 starts on Monday, and we would love.
Did Chris do his picks?
Did you?
Yeah, Mad Max.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so round 2 starts on Monday. Like we said earlier, we had over 1,000 votes in round 1. We would love for you guys to keep on voting. You can vote either by liking or loving on Facebook. You can find that at facebook.com/whatwewatchedonline. You can follow us on Twitter and vote there at What We Watched, and you can follow us on Instagram also at What We Watched, and you can find all of it on the WWW Movie Madness hashtag. Thank you so much for participating, guys. Thank you, JC, Chris, and Zach. Thank you for joining us. Zach is actually a part of another project called The Third Wheel, I believe, and so he's just going to talk about that real quick.
Yeah, so if you like 3 people coming into a room, each with a different topic, and then they all avoid talking about those topics, you should check out The Third Wheel. You can find us on Twitter at, well, it is at _the3RD wheel. We're also on iTunes and Podbean. It's real stupid stuff, so you should come check us out.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys. I'm going to go down the line. If you guys want to throw out how people can get in touch with you and argue about how you are totally wrong about everything you just said, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, all that sort of stuff at RealMattWaz. JC?
JC, you can find me at DJ Waz. I'm just kidding. At Jason Crawford without any vowels, so JSNCRWFRD, and on Instagram at a 182 at the end of it. And yeah, that's JSNCRWFRD.
Awesome. Chris?
You can catch me on Twitter at Chris Graves 12. And you can tell me how right I am about Mad Max.
Zach?
You can find me on Twitter at @TheZachTaylor. I'm also on Instagram at @TheZachTaylor, but I don't post there. So I also have a Snapchat, but I don't know what it is. So pretty much
Awesome.
just Twitter.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for coming and talking with us. Once again, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, all that sort of stuff. Just look up at What We Watched, and we will see you in round 2 on Monday. See you, everybody.
Sahara
Awesome.
for life.
Peace.
Oh, God.